incoming data to ascertain if further measures are necessary. The boards and top management of regulated entities should ensure that risk limits and exposures for each line of business are kept well within their respective risk appetite framework. The persisting gap between credit and deposit growth rates warrants a rethink by the boards of banks to re-strategize their business plans. A prudent balance between asset and liabilities has to be maintained. Customer protection remains on top of the Reserve Bank's priorities. In general, we have observed that the guidelines on key fact statement, in fact, I have explained key fact statement also in the footnote. The customer protection, as I'm just repeating, customer protection remains on top of Reserve Bank's priorities. In fact, it would be of interest to you that in this year's annual report, we have a separate box item which lists out the customer-centric measures that the Reserve Bank has taken. And in the same vein, we have also a box item in the annual report which has just been released recently. There is a box item on the number of regulatory measures which were taken after carrying out stakeholder consultations. And these two box items, I would encourage those who are interested to please have a look at them. So in general, we have observed that the guidelines on key fact statement are followed, but a few regulated entities still charge fees, etc., that are not specified or disclosed in the key fact statement, that is KFS. It has also been observed that in some microfinance institutions and NBFCs that the interest rates on small value loans are high and appear to be usurious. The regulatory freedom enjoyed by the regulated entities in respect of interest rates and charges should be used judiciously to ensure fair and transparent pricing of products and services. The Reserve Bank continues its constructive engagement with such financial entities to safeguard the interest of customers and ensure overall financial stability. Now let me make it very clear that we are observing all these trends, and our focus is always to interact, to engage with the sectoral players, to engage with the individual banks or NBFCs or the MFIs and encourage them to take necessary corrective measures, because it's for the regulator and the regulated entities together. We have to work to ensure that your health, that is the health of the banks and NBFCs and the microfinance institutions, remain robust, the health remains good, and if that happens and when that happens, it's good for the economy. I'm not saying that there is any big amount of problem at the moment. Overall, as I have said, let me again re-emphasize the banking sector, the NBFC sector, the MFI sector, overall financial sector remains healthy and stable. But there are a few outliers and I was mainly focusing on them. Let me now turn to the external sector. With lower trade deficit, robust services export growth and strong remittances, the current account deficit is expected to have moderated in Q4 2023-24. Services exports were predominantly driven by software exports. Other business services and travel services exports were predominantly driven by software exports, other business services and travel exports. The phenomenal rise in global capability centers, that is GCCs, in India has provided a significant boost to India's software and business services exports. India, with an expected 15.2% share in world remittances in 2024, continues to be the largest recipient of remittances globally. Overall, the current account deficit for the current year, that is 2024-25, is expected to remain well within its sustainable level. On the external financing side, foreign portfolio investment, that is FPI flows, surged in 23-24 with net FPI inflows of around US $41.6 billion. Since the beginning of 2024-25, however, foreign portfolio investors have turned net sellers in the domestic market with net outflows of $5 billion till June 5. In 2023, India retained its position as the most attractive destination for greenfield foreign direct investment, that is greenfield FDI in Asia and Pacific. Gross FDI remained robust in 23-24, but net FDI moderated. External commercial borrowings, that is ECBs, and non-resident deposits recorded high net inflows as compared with the previous year. The amount of ECB agreements also grew markedly during the year. Now, I have given the relevant data in the footnotes. Now, touching a new milestone, India's foreign exchange reserves reached a historical high of $651.5 billion as on 31st May. India's external sector remains resilient and the key external vulnerability indicators continue to improve. Overall, we remain confident of meeting our external financing requirements comfortably. I shall now announce certain additional measures, and there are, I think, about there are few of them, and at the end, in the concluding para, I would like to also provide some guidance for the way forward. The first announcement relates to review of limit for bulk deposits in banks. On a review of bulk deposit limit, it is proposed to revise the definition of bulk deposits as single rupee term deposit of 3 crore, rupees 3 crore and above for scheduled commercial banks, excluding the regional rural banks, and this also is applicable, that is from this definition of single rupee term deposit of 3 crore is applicable to both scheduled commercial banks and SFBs and not RRBs. Further, it is also proposed to define the bulk deposit limit for local area banks as single rupee term deposit of rupees 1 crore and above as applicable in the case of RRBs. The next announcement relates to rationalization of guidelines for export and import of goods and services under the Foreign Exchange Management Act, that is FEMA 1999. In view of the changing dynamics of international trade and in line with the progressive liberalization of foreign exchange regulations, it is proposed to rationalize the extant FEMA guidelines on export and import of goods and services. This will further promote ease of doing business and provide greater operational flexibility to authorized dealer banks. Draft guidelines will be issued shortly for stakeholder feedback. The next announcement relates to setting up of a digital payments intelligence platform. The Reserve Bank has taken a number of measures over the years to deepen digital payments while ensuring their safety and security. These measures have boosted consumer confidence. Growing instances of digital frauds, however, highlight the need for a system-wide approach to prevent and mitigate such frauds. It is therefore proposed to establish a digital payments intelligence platform for network-level intelligence and real-time data sharing across the digital payments ecosystem. To take this initiative forward, the Reserve Bank has constituted a committee to examine various aspects of setting up this platform. The next announcement relates to inclusion of recurring payments with auto-replenishment facility under the e-mandate framework. The adoption of e-mandates for recurring payment transactions has been increasing. It is now proposed to include payments such as replenishment of balances in FASTag, National Common Mobility Card, that is NCMC, etc., which are recurring in nature but without any fixed periodicity in the e-mandate framework. This will enable customers to automatically replenish the balances in FASTag, NCMC, etc. if the balance goes below the threshold limit set by them. This will enhance convenience in making travel and mobility related payments. The next announcement relates to introduction of auto replenishment of UPI Lite wallet and it also includes inclusion under the e-mandate framework. UPI Lite was introduced in September 2022 to enable small value payments in a quick and seamless manner through an on-device wallet. To encourage wider adoption of UPI Lite, it is now proposed to bring it under the e-mandate framework by introducing a facility for customers to automatically replenish their UPI Lite wallets if the balance goes below the threshold limit set by them. There could be some, I think if you want better clarity, this statement will be uploaded immediately after my, my address, my statement is over in the next couple of minutes. So please have a look at the uploaded version that will give you clarity. We try to avoid long sentences, but sometimes it becomes difficult and so unavoidable. So please bear with me. Now this measure will further enhance the ease of making small value digital payments. And the final announcement relates to Harbinger 2024, Innovation for Transformation. The Reserve Bank has taken several pioneering initiatives in recent years to encourage innovation in the fintech sector. One such key initiative is the global hackathon, that is Harbinger Innovation for Transformation. The first two editions of the hackathon were completed in the year 2022 and 2023. The third edition of the global hackathon, Harbinger 2024, with two themes, namely Zero Financial Frauds and being Divyang Friendly, will be launched shortly. Let me now conclude. At the Reserve Bank, our job demands poise, patience and perseverance. India's recent economic progress, continued momentum in economic activity, and the overall promising economic prospects validate our approach to policy making. At the moment, the Indian economy is at an inflection point in its path towards greater transformational changes that will bring about more stability and growth. On inflation, we are on the right track, but there is still work to be done. Globally, there are concerns that the last mile of disinflation might be protracted and arduous amidst continuing geopolitical conflicts, supply chain disruptions, and commodity price volatility. In India, with growth holding firm, monetary policy has greater elbow room to pursue price stability to ensure that inflation aligns to the target on a durable basis. In its current setting, monetary policy remains squarely focused on price stability to effectively anchor inflation expectations and provide the required foundation for sustained growth over a period of time. The words of Mahatma Gandhi resonate here, and I quote, "If we are sure of our path," I repeat, "if we are sure of our path, we should go on striving for it incessantly and uninterruptedly." Thank you. Namaskar.
Madison had brilliant ideas, but she always struggled to put them into words. And then she discovered Quillbot for Chrome. When Madison used to write proposals, her sentences came out jumbled. She felt like her boss never quite understood her point, and she worried he thought she was careless. But ever since getting Quillbot for Chrome, Madison's writing is flawless. That's because Quillbot for Chrome is there for her whenever she writes, wherever she writes. Now, when Madison has an idea, Quillbot helps her strengthen her language and find the perfect words. She gets her point across clearly and concisely, showing her boss how smart she really is. It's like having an editor everywhere she goes. With Quillbot, Madison feels more confident in her writing and herself. Now that Madison's writing shines, she can shine too, and her boss is definitely impressed. Take an editor on the go. Get Quillbot for Chrome today.